Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. How's everybody doing? Y'all got your cookies and milk set out on the table for later tonight? I'm assuming that everybody in here is, at least was at this point in time, not seeing anybody from overseas. Oh, Dutch is in here. Okay. It's already Christmas there. Anyone have a video for you searching? I do not. I don't know, Rustic.
Those are easy.
So anyway, everybody got your Christmas lists out and Santa checking off the list if you've been naughty and nice and all that other kind of crazy stuff you tell the kids. Anyway, didn't know what to expect tonight. Didn't know how many people we would have in here. I see we got a nice little crowd. Can you guys hear me okay? It looks like it on this end. I think we're okay here. Wanted to talk just a little bit about video editing tonight. Again, kind of go back to it. And one of the reasons I want to do that is because, well, two of the tools in my toolbox were just within the past week received updates. But strangely enough, neither one of them told me that they needed it. So just wanted to make you all aware of that. So just for example, those of you out there that might be running Filmora 9. If you open up your program and you go to the help and then you go to the about, if you don't have version 9.3, you are not up to date. Now this is for a Windows machine. I do not know what it is for a Mac. But if you're running Windows, you have Filmora 9 and you are not up to 9.3, you do not have the latest and greatest, if you would, from Filmora. Now, here's what I find aggravating about it. That's also under this help area. They have a item right here that I have the mouse on. It says check for updates. If I click on this, it says your current version is the latest version. Well, I know it is now, but that's what it said when it was not 9.3. If that is the case, if you see that yours is not 9.3, just go to Filmora and just download the latest one. Just download it and install it. It installs right over top of the old one there, and that will get you up to date. But Filmora is not alone with that. Power Director, which I have up here on the screen right now, well, they were the same way. So let me I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly where this go to plugins. Project properties. It's typically an about. Okay. I'm not sure where the About page is, but it did not tell me it needed to be updated either. Power Director runs theirs in a little bit different fashion. If you have Power Director version 18 is the latest, down here at the bottom. This one says 365, and that's because I have the entire suite. I have the Power Director video editor. I have their photo editing software. I have their sound software, as well as their color grading program. So that's the reason that I have the 365. It's the same program. It's just addressed a little bit differently. Well, here's check for updates or upgrades. There's currently no new updates available. There is currently no new upgrades available. So I wanted to point those two out because those are the two editors that I use primarily here. Filmora Pro also got an update. So all three of them, Filmora Pro, Filmora 9, Power Director, if you're running any of those and you haven't updated it in the past week, there is an update out there. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Everybody got notepads in hand. This actually came out a couple weeks ago. So what I want to do here is I'm going to put this in the chat. Put a link in the chat. And this is from PC Magazine's their picks, I guess, for video editing programs in the order that they kind of like them. And I don't care where you go. I mean, you can go search hundreds of places out there, and you're going to find Adobe Premiere Pro is mentioned as the number one editor, bar none. The only problem with that is it's the cost. It's you never own the software. You're always renting it, and you're renting it for somewhere between $20 and $60 a month, depending upon what suite of softwares you are utilizing. Now, there are some discounts available, especially if you are homeschooling. So there's educational discounts available, things like that, but it still is it's a very, very expensive program. It will run on Windows or Mac, and Mac has their own editor, which is fairly comparable, I believe, to Adobe Premiere Pro, and that's their what is it, Final Cut Pro. But most places that you go to, you're also going to find somewhere, generally speaking, within the top 10, you're going to find the CyberLink Power Director. Seems to always be there. You're also going to find Wondershare Filmora. And those are the two that I kind of recommend here. I do not have any affiliation with either of those two products. And that's a shame from my perspective, because I know there's been a number of people that have bought this Filmora simply because that's the one that we started doing editorials on and teaching people how to use. I know a lot of people went out and bought that. And that didn't do anything for us. Other than, gain views, and we enjoy helping people. But buying that, I guess what I'm saying is we are not affiliates of Fillmore. We are not affiliates of Cyberlink Power Director. Some of the other ones out here is the Apple iMovie. So I believe that's free. The iMovie is free on Apple products. Adobe has got some scaled back versions. They've got Premiere Elements, and they have another one. I don't see it here, but they have another one that's a scaled down, kind of a little bit of an offshoot of the Premiere Pro. But Premiere Pro is their pinnacle piece of software. Okay. Now, this is a blog out of Shutterstock, and they talk a lot about editing, not only for videos but photos. And there is a lot. I'm not going to say a lot. There's a number of good articles that they link in here. So let me. Boy, that's a long. Let me do this. Kim Fife, how you doing? Unbelievable. Okay, yeah, the link is actually too long. For me to put in here. So I'm going to, if you want me to get the link to that, I can get it shortened. But there is something in particular that I do want to share with you in one of these. This is just, it's great reading. It doesn't take long. If you just took a little bit on each one of these, I think there's 10. Yeah, 10 articles. But the one I really want you to pay attention to is, let me get to it. There it is. 10 video editing tips from TED. Are you all familiar with TED Talks? It's a great event that happens all over the country, usually at colleges and things like this, where they invite knowledgeable speakers up on the stage and they give a talk anywhere from 20 minutes to maybe an hour and a half on any given topic. And there are a number of topics that are...
What's the blog called, Darryl?
The blog is... It's Premium Beat by Shutterstock, and music in a blog. So it's premiumbeat.com/blog. That might get you there. Let me try that. Let me just try to go to premiumbeat.com. Let's try that in a new window here.
Big Dreams Homestead has it. Premiumbeat.com, then click blogs.
Yeah, blog down here at the bottom. And then you can get the video editing and what have you. But the one in particular that I wanted you to pay attention is the one that is from TED, the show TED, I guess you would call it. And I want to share a couple of these things with you here because it's really pretty slick. So let me see if I can get this set up. They talk a little bit in here about camera angles and these are, for the most part, they're 7-second clips. So let's
think up cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating.
Okay, were you all able to hear that? And I can't see if they're writing anything.
Haven't said anything.
Let me change a window here. Hold on.
Yep, they heard it, yes.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is I can't follow them the way that I have this currently set. So okay, now I should be able to see the chat anyway. So let's kind of start over here again. This TED Talks 1. I got my headphones on now so I can hear it too.
Think up cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating.
Okay, so that's just a short excerpt. This is a modified version of it right here.
Think up cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating.
Okay, so were you able to quickly tell the difference between those two? Often it's these subtle
Think up
things.
cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating.
And we'll play this one again down here.
Think up cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating.
Now, the verbiage is exactly the same in both those clips, but what is different is the way that the clip was presented to you. They were both taken with multiple cameras, but it was all in the editing floor. So which one did you find to be the easiest and best one to watch? And they talk more about that down here as far as the best camera angles for each movement, close-ups, medium shots. Another really good one is this one right here.
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the National Parliament. It was kind of interesting because, like, in the morning from 9 to 11.
Rustic tradition likes the first
Hmm?
one. Rustic tradition likes the first one. And then they're all different.
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the National Parliament. It was kind of interesting because, like, in the morning from 9 to 11.
Did you catch the difference there? Let me do this one again.
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the National Parliament. It was kind of interesting because, like, in the morning from 9 to 11.
And we'll do this one again.
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the National Parliament. It was kind of interesting because, like, in the morning from 9 to 11.
Okay, did anybody catch the difference there? I'm going to highlight it right here on the page so you can see it. In the first one, And we all have a high chance of doing this when we're talking to somebody. Some of us are worse than others. Where we sit back and we go, and you hear a lot of ums. And that's exactly what happened here.
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the national parliament.
All right, did you hear the Now we'll play it down here where they edited that
For the first time, I got invited to speak at the national parliament. It was kind of interesting because, like, in the morning from 9 to.
So that's the kind of things you can do with some subtle editing techniques. And those are the things that can really, from the technical standpoint, can make your video a lot better. Now, I know we can all sit back and we can say, well, hey, this is just YouTube videos and nobody gives a crap. And, well, that may or may not be true, but you're the one making it, and I bet you do give a crap. I mean, it's your product, and I'm sure that you would like to have your product be the best that it can be. There's more examples in here. I don't want to go too far as doing this. Everything that we've done so far is like fair use. We are talking about it. We're showing just little bits of it, and we are talking about what was done. So that does fall under the fair use arena, because we're not just blatantly playing this back, and they are just very, very short clips. And we're explaining what they're doing and why they're doing it. Oh, Ghost Mafia's in here. Good evening, Ghost Mafia. Let's see it. Well, I've lost count here. Freaky Greek's here. How are you? So, anyway, those are. This is a great read. It doesn't take long. Most of those, I should say, all of those articles on the other page, the must read from Premium Beat by Shutterstock. That there's 10 short articles, just like this one that I kind of presented to you here, and 5-10 minutes on each one. Just read one a day, and just kind of work with it and see what you see how it can help you. Okay, let me see what we have here. You have to edit out plenty of ums and throat clearings. I can attest to that. I know how that works. If you edit out anything, it would be the squeaks. So let me ask you this. Is there anybody in here with any particular questions on anything tonight? I know last week we talked quite a bit about OBS. We're always pretty open on whatever subject you folks would like to discuss. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect tonight. I'm pleasantly surprised that we got 20-some people in the room here this evening. I figure being Christmas Eve that everybody would be busy getting the cookies and milk out on the table for Santa. We will not be doing a show next week. Big Bear Homestead is going to have a premiere next week. He's in here, isn't he? Is Jason in here? He's not in here. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that he's planning to do that at 8 o'clock.
Why the closed captions on feed? And have you noticed any issues issues with your downloader recently.
Okay.
There's a free place to get good music besides YouTube.
Okay, let's take these one at a time. Geeky Gardens, have you noticed any issues with your downloader recently? No. The one I use is 4K. Let me see what... I used a 4K video downloader, and just over the past couple weeks, these are the videos I downloaded with it. So I use that because it's a free program and it works very, very well. Okay, now I'll get to the music here in just a moment. What was the other question? Other than an external mic, is that the one? How do I lessen the echo noise on a GoPro? Rustic Traditions, I don't know if you're getting an echo noise on a GoPro, is there an echo noise in the room where you're talking? I mean, it's only going to record what it hears. So even just putting an external mic on, if you're in an environment where just your voice echoes, you put a better mic on it, you'll just hear better echoes. So you need to have the environment itself that you're doing the recording in as conducive to clean sound as possible. And some places don't do that. I mean, if you're in a big pole barn, for example, big open pole barn, and you go just stand in the middle of it and talk, you're going to hear echoes. And that's
From within the camera, like noise from my hand touching the camera.
Oh, okay. Well, and again, with let's see what I have here. Okay,
Does Power Director have a free version or only a free trial?
free trial.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, just have a free trial. It is one of the, they do have a money back deal, I think, for the first 30 days or something. But okay, so if you have a GoPro, like what I have right here, and you're holding it almost anywhere and you move your fingers, well, the microphones are very sensitive and it has multiple microphones on it. I don't remember the exact locations, but if you look at the documentation, you're going to find it has multiple microphones. And just the act of moving your finger across this produces sound or noise. You might try to minimize that if you have to hold this in your hand. You might try gloves, possibly. A better solution would be simply to, I don't have anything right here, would be to put it on some sort of a handle, some sort of a little tripod that you can hold the tripod and just hold the camera up, or an arm. The GoPro cameras are so little. They make tons of stuff that different ways to present this. So I think that's probably going to be about the best you can do. I don't know of any sound deadening settings in them. But let me just look here real quick. I don't see anything. Yeah, I do not see anything. So,
What option do you choose in Power Director when producing? I choose MP4, but I don't know if that's the best choice.
MP4 for doing YouTube videos is your best choice, bar none. Depending upon okay, let's do this. It's kind of a process. You can actually create a higher quality video going out than what came in. It is possible to do, but it is also very difficult to do because I'm sure you've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out. It's pretty hard to improve as far as the raw substance, whatever you start with, to make it better coming out the other end. The only thing I know that really does that well is bees. But let me, let's see where we're at. Okay, so we're on Power Director here. And I guess I need something to produce. So let me just grab some sort of video here. Okay, so this is the way that I do it. An H.264 file is what you're going to want to produce for YouTube. And then you'll come down here and you will have various choices as to the profile names and the quality. And I have what I produce, what I send out is 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. And that is a default setting here. I could increase that, but I don't start with 60 frames a second. I don't start with a higher frame rate. So there's no reason for me to go above 30 frames a second. If I am filming in 4K or something, the capability here is in here to do 4K if you want to do that. But if you do, it takes up more room. Files are bigger. It's going to take longer to upload. Everything will just slow down. So the higher the resolution, the slower it's going to be as far as getting everything put together. A good reason to film in 60 frames a second is if you want to do any type of slow motion, because you can slow it down to 30 frames a second, half speed, and it will be very, very smooth because it's not making up any frames. It's actually just cutting the frames in half. And it's very, very smooth slow motion. If you were to reduce the speed, say 4 times, well, at that point, the software has to try to fill in the blank. There are not complete frames there for it to grab, so it will grab a couple frames and sort of meld them together, and you'll get jittery movements. Now, it's still pretty quick, and it looks pretty good, especially coming across from YouTube. And looking at it on a phone, you may not even notice it. But you put it on a big screen television, and you will notice it. Okay. So what I put out is 1920 by 1080, 30 frames a second. If what you are recording is only 720p, you're probably better off to use a lower setting. YouTube's not going to care. The files are going to be smaller. It's going to take less time for you to upload. And looking at the finished product again on a phone, they're not going to notice. Very few phones are actually watching in 720p. They're watching in 460 or 640 or... Because what YouTube does is it will take that file and they highly compress the file. What you upload to them is destroyed. What you upload to them is actually destroyed. And they take that file and they produce multiple streams out of it with various formats. If you go to the little gear icon underneath on the bottom of the view page right here, right now, so it'll be kind of right down under that tree. I don't have that screen up in front of me, but Sherry does. If you go to the gear icon, Sherry, what are all the quality settings that?
Autoplay, annotations, playback speed.
The auto. If you click on clear at the bottom there. Click on that.
1080, 720, 480, 360, 240, 144 in auto.
Okay, so how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they've taken this stream, which I am uploading at 1080. So they've taken this stream and they are rebroadcasting it at 7 different levels. Everything from 144 all the way up to 1080. And if you are doing a stream like what we're doing here right now, it's interesting to watch. Well, I know you used to be able to see it, but I'm not seeing it here on this one. You could go in and this is not going to tell me that, but you could go in with the old studio after the stream was over and look and see how many people were watching at various levels. Not exact numbers, but you could see if the majority of your viewers were watching at 720, if they were watching at 144 or 360 or whatever the case might be. So streaming video is a little bit more complicated than what people really think. All of these different streams are set out by YouTube, and it's not because YouTube can't handle it. They can certainly handle it. They have plenty of bandwidth. But the receiving end has to be able to receive fast enough, and the higher the value, the more data, and of course, the bigger the resolution. the resolutions, high resolution shines on bigger screens. It could look very, very good on a phone and not so good on a 80-inch TV. So just some food for thought. Now, somebody was asking, let me think, what was the other question? Okay, rustic traditions, I use 16, option right after the 6. Okay, rustic traditions, and then you are producing your video at 720p, 24 frames per second, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if your original content is at 30 frames a second, this software has to do less work. If you were to go down just one more and have it 1280 by 720, 30p, if your original content is at 30 frames a second, because that way it will go faster. There's no, doesn't have to alter anything. But it is always easier to slow it down than it is to speed it up. Okay. Forest. All right, I know there was another question. I'm trying to find it here. I don't remember. What was the other question somebody asked? If you would repost it, or somebody can remember.
I didn't see another question.
Okay, so we talked about the GoPro. We talked about the frame rates. And I answered Nathan's question on the power director. Freaky Greek, you are right. GoPros have tiny little aliens living inside them.
Oh, where's a free place to get good music besides the
Okay.
place? That was Big Dreams Homestead and Marie.
Okay. The absolute best place to get free music is the YouTube library. That is the best place. Having said that, for some reason everybody hates it. And I don't know why, but they do. I think maybe they have too big a selection. I'm not sure. Other places to get free music. There are places there are channels that are on YouTube that advertise the music they have is free. But there's caveats. And most places will have these caveats. You have to acknowledge. There has to be some sort of acknowledgement back to the author of the song. That can either be done in the video description, can be done on the screen, but it needs to go back to that you got this music somewhere. if you all notice at the beginning of the program here, I have going across the top, I have music by, I think it's called Audiotronics, and then the name of the song. All right, all that music is free, provided I list the name of the song and where it's from, which is audiotronics.com. So that's the way I do it here. This way I can, if there's ever a question, and there has been, there's been those crazy little aliens that float around inside YouTube that pick up on something in what we uploaded and said, hey, that's a match to music we own. And I've matched that at 43 minutes and 12 seconds into the show, and it stopped at 43 minutes and 25 seconds into the show. So for that little bit of time, it was an exact match. And because it was an exact match for not even a minute, maybe a lot of times, we're gonna not let you have any money from your video. If you're monetized, we're gonna put the ads on. We're gonna claim all the money. So that happens, and you're as a content creator, your recourse to that is you can dispute it. That's number one. You can dispute it. And for that, you have to fill out a form. And you have to tell them in the form why the music you have doesn't belong to whatever company this is that just slapped this big old ball and chain to your ankle. And you may have for example, if you're doing a live stream and it's for an hour in length, and live streams are not noted for getting a lot of repeat views, so what little bit of money you might make, $1, maybe $2, this big music company is going to just grab it and take it all. It's crazy. But by doing that, I can go back into the video at exactly that time and see what was playing, because I have it right there on the screen. I have the name of the song that was playing and obviously where I got it from. And then I can dispute that claim and say, this is where I got the music. I can go to that website and copy the details of the license that allows me to use it. I have the name of the song, and I have all of that. And it gives you a pretty solid defense, if you would, for somebody making a claim. Now, that often is plenty. That often is plenty enough. And they just say, oh, okay, no problem, and forget about it. There are other times when you do a dispute, they have 30 days before they have to answer you. And they may never answer you, but they have at least 30 days. And I have dealt with some that they just never respond. So after the 30 days, if they haven't responded to your dispute, then you are the winner. And YouTube comes back to you and says, okay, you can be monetized and you can have whatever you want. And that's just fine. That's great. Other times, and I've had some where there's been multiple companies, and I feel like just sitting back and saying, okay, you guys go fight over 50 cents. But I never get to see the bout, so it's kind of a waste of time. But if they do this to the hundreds of thousands of channels that are out there, there's serious money in this. There is serious money in this. I don't know if you all saw Reap What You Sow. Did a little piece. Todd's got a video that has gone semi-viral for them. There's no doubt about it. It's 180,000 views or something. The video was uploaded a while back, and it sat there pretty dormant. But it has to do with wild pigs, razorback hogs or something. And it's probably, I don't know, it could be approaching 200, maybe even over 200,000 views by now.
Not yet.
Getting close. Are they in here now? I haven't seen them.
No.
And that video, according to YouTube, has made them over $500. That one video. Yeah, the hogs in the trap one. That's right, white picket fence. So that's one of the reasons that we all want to be monetized, and you never know when you're going to put that video out that takes off for an unknown reason. Now, we have a video out there that has not taken off, but it consistently gets views. Consistently. Now, it's not a lot. It's nothing like that hog video or some other ones, but we have a video that stars me that was it pineapple
Upside down.
pineapple upside down cake or something. It's crazy. But there's not a week goes by it doesn't get another 10 to 20 views. So in a long time from now, it might make some money. I don't know. We've not had any big viewing videos like what like Reap What You Sow had with that one. But that'll, if you want a rough idea, look at the number of views a video has. If the channel's monetized, look at the number of views a video has and multiply that number of views by 0.003, and that will put you right in the ballpark of what it's going to pay that creator. That'll get you in the neighborhood. Don't know exactly how much it is. There's too many other variables, but that'll put you in the neighborhood of what somebody's going to make on YouTube. So 0.003 times the number of views. Now, having said that, keep in mind that it continues to go on and on and on. So the earnings for any given video may be spread out over years, which is possible. But if you want to look at the total for any given video, just use that little formula. Okay. Sydney, I don't know why they haven't done more videos of that, but they may go back and do it. I mean, it wasn't an instant success. It just had normal views for a long time, and then it just took off. And you never know why it's going to take off. If we all had that magical albino snake, we could all have a very Merry Christmas. I'd love for everybody in here tonight to get 1 million views on your next video, as long as you take us along. Okay, any other questions? Let me ask everybody in here, all 18 to 20 of you. I've kicked around the idea of having kind of an open night tomorrow night, Christmas night. When we did our Monday Night Live a couple of years ago on Christmas night, we had a wonderful turnout. It was a lot of fun. If we do it, we would send out invitations to previous guests from this past year that if they wanted to connect for 10 minutes or stick around for an hour or whatever, I can host a number of them on the screen all at the same time. So would you all like to see anything like that, or? Samson Farm would love to do it tomorrow night. Tradition sounds good.
Sky wants to know if you're bringing the eggnog.
Sure, we can bring that. Or at least was the rum.
Brenda's bringing the rum.
All right. We'll see what we can do. We've had somebody else ask if we were going to do this and they wanted to be a part of it. So.
Yeah, that's what Nathan just said.
Okay. All right. So we'll kind of put something together here and get some emails out. So hopefully we have all your email addresses. Sydney, I don't know. Are you a rum drinker? Rum and Coke? What's Marco cookies? I'm afraid to ask.
And we'll leave it just like that.
So you don't care for the tequila. All right. Well, for those of you that have little ones that are going to just have a heyday tomorrow, we send our smiles to you. And We wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas. And anything else, hon? Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. Sherry sounds like she needs a hot toddy. I don't, Sydney, believe me, I just don't think that would be a good idea. She's not one for those kind of drinks. Once in a great while.
It's the rest of my family that are luscious, not me. They are. You know that.
All right, so thank you all for being here. We've had a good year. We hope you've had a great year. So we'll get together tomorrow evening. Don't know how long it'll last. We'll play it by ear. Just see what happens.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Take care. Good night, folks.
Love ya.